BRICS. My name is Sergey Rybakov. I'm the Program Director of Ecumena Global Forum and Discussion Club. Over 40% of the world's population lives in the BRICS countries, with approximately 1.5 billion BRICS people living in urban agglomerations, prioritizing environmental sustainability as a top priority in their policies due to concern about the negative impact of urbanization on the environment. Dependence on fossil fuels, both for energy production and imports, has led to a steady increase in greenhouse gas emissions over time in a situation of persisting climate change implications, that affect the environment and economy in all the BRICS countries. A solution is seen in improving BRICS countries' sustainability through fostering their deeper understanding of circular economic principles and unfolding green approaches with human beings centered as right holders for clean, safe, and prosperous environment, to allowing cities to become smart and innovative. This in turn will foster a steady transition to a greener and more resilient growth model and inevitably promote the reform of economic policies and development of renewable energy as part of climate adaptation measures and investment policies to attract investments in small and medium-scale business and international trade. Environmentally responsible practices will get crucial in that sense for a paradigm shift in the financial landscape, allowing to urgently align all facets of the financial system to move from one that passively manages risks to one that proactively considers impact of businesses' activities in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement. How to make these solutions tailored to BRICS countries' specificities? The answer is with the timely interventions based on knowledge sharing and untapping BRICS countries' potential for cooperation and peer-to-peer learning. Associated challenges can be wisely managed by the BRICS cities by advancing collaboration in innovation, technology transfer, and information best practices sharing on energy efficiency, renewable energy, circular economy, and ecosystem protection. By doing that, the strategic vision should incorporate system-level change in policy and governance, research methods, financial resources, people's participation, public safety, public services, and environmental sustainability. South-to-South cooperation, therefore, will ultimately help advance awareness on smart cities narrative and introduce potential instruments on the ground to increase countries' potential and ownership for sustainable development with a focus on cities and human settlements. In view of the above, BRICS countries consider next steps in the way of their sustainability by utilizing the platform offered and facilitated by the One Planet Network Forum in reaffirming their commitment to strengthen cooperation for the purpose of global economic growth based on social justice, environmental balance, and resilience to climate change. This is specifically true for achieving the 11th UN Sustainable Development Goal, ensuring openness, security, resilience, and environmental sustainability of cities and human settlements. In the last several months, we have done several events in different parts of Russia to discuss sustainable cities movement in BRICS. And it's a huge pleasure and honor to discuss this topic today, here in Brazil, as a preparation for the upcoming G20 Leaders Summit. The results of this session will be presented at the upcoming 16th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity, on the 2024 UN Climate Change Conference, 10th UNOC Global Forum, and the 16th session of the Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. Herewith, I would like to present our magnificent speakers. With welcome remarks, please welcome Mr. Dmitry Chumakov, Deputy Permanent Representative of Russian Federation to the United Nations. Speakers in the room are Ms. Lilian dos Santos Rajal, National Security of Food and Nutrition Security, Minister of Social Development and Fight Against Hunger, Brazil. Ms. Tatiana Naumova, Head of Division of the Department for External Affairs, for External Economic and International Relations of Moscow. Mr. Liu Ning, Director General, Department of Ecological and Environmental Monitoring, Minister of Ecology and Environment of China. Mr. Kaguta Mokoena, Chief Director, Chemicals and Waste Policy Specialist, Monitoring Services, Department of Forestry, Fisheries, and the Environment, Republic of South Africa. Mr. Lucio Silva, Acato Institute, Brazil. And Mr. Vladimir Mashkala, who is the head of the UN Environment Program Russia office, who will join us as an online speaker. Mr. Dmitry Chumakov, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Do you hear me? Yeah. It's a pleasure and honor to address this gathering. I'm happy to represent the member state, UN member states, which is now chairing the BRICS this year. I would like to say that we invest a lot in this presidency, and you know that since this year the cycle of presidency will becomes twice as long. It used to be like every 4 years. Now it's 10. But I would like to address you in the in the context of our panel discussion today. Also, I'm happy to address you as a member of the board for a 10-year program of the sustainable consumption and production, which is the core issue today and yesterday at our One Planet Forum. And the theme of today's thematic session, Sustainable Cities, is of course one of the global sustainable development goals, but not only that, it is a crucial element of shared future in BRICS countries. So cooperation between regions, cities, and municipalities within the BRICS framework is one of the priorities of the Russian chairmanship this year. And we believe that fostering urban environments is really the backbone of sustainable development. And we're committed to supporting collaboration at this level to enhance the quality of life of citizens. We recognize that there is no single path to sustainable development that fits all nations. And each nation is unique, has sovereign right to choose its own development trajectory. And this principle is at the core of our approach to sustainable urbanization. And I'm happy to underline this word that BRICS countries are like-minded and united because we do not impose anything on others like other countries try to. In recent years, cooperation among BRICS municipalities has flourished, and we are surely hearing about that from my esteemed co-panelists. I just would mention, I cannot avoid it, the 6th International BRICS Municipal Forum, which took place just a couple of weeks ago in Moscow and brought together as I understand, 5,000 delegates from around 500 cities worldwide. So it's really impressive, and that has proven, this forum has proven that it was an effective platform for horizontal ties, people-to-people exchanges, which are vital to success of urban initiatives and discussions of urban planning, transportation, infrastructure, digital issues, energy efficiency, as well as industrial opportunities, trade, and entrepreneurship are key to our shared goal of enhancing cooperation within BRICS as a whole. And I believe we must prioritize the development of sustainable cities. This includes forming comfortable urban environments, reducing environmental impact of urbanization, and ensuring affordable housing for all. Balanced regional development, environmentally friendly approaches to advancement of efficient transport systems, of course, are at the forefront of the efforts of our presidency and of BRICS countries. I'm proud to say that localization of SDGs, particularly in urban areas, the share of Russian cities which have favorable it's a trend which Russia fully embraces and supports, because over the past 5 years, the share of Russian cities which have favorable environments has more than doubled, promoting sustainable waste management systems, consumption and production practices, resilience to natural disasters. It's becoming basically the natural disasters are becoming frequent because of the climate change, and we're eager to hear more from other BRICS countries today. I would also like to underline that in 2020 we had our national voluntary review in HLPF. It's High-Level Political Forum, which is held in New York every year under the auspices of ECOSOC. And in our report, national report, it was a scale of the whole Russian Federation achievements and SDGs, but the localizations to SDGs, and further reports that are happening in the UN, also with the help of Russian Association of Assistance to UN, is a very impressive input into overall picture of how Russia is implementing SDGs. So speaking about my own countries, I should mention my own country achievements. I should mention that sustainable urban development is the heart of Russia's national development goals. This is reflected in our government programs, our national projects, and among key priorities we have the convenience and accessibility of public and municipal services for the population, including through digital platforms. We have a digital platform which is called Gosuslugi, and I'm sure this is one of the most leading digital platform for the citizens, but it's not my cup of tea. I'm just mentioning it. So the steps are essential to building cities that are not only smart, but also responsive to the needs of citizens. And the need of addressing environmental changes, of course, cannot be underestimated. Every city, and our city is also trying best to reduce harmful emissions, eliminating from waste dumps, fostering circular economy, which is the main topic of OPN Forum. And these initiatives are aligned with global trends towards sustainability, and they demonstrate our commitment to the Paris Agreement, the climate agreement. We heard a lot about Brazil's impressive achievements in circular economy, bioeconomy, and I think this is just another confirmation how we unite our efforts to confirm the political obligations that we have taken in these big documents, I mean Paris Agreement, Agenda 2030. In conclusion, let me reassure you that Russia is committed to advancing the Sustainable Cities Agenda within BRICS, so that our cities not only resilient and inclusive, but also serve as models of sustainable development for the rest of the world, for other countries. And by integrating cutting-edge solutions and engaging communities, we of course can assure that our cities evolve into beautiful and livable spaces. I thank you for your attention, and I look forward to our discussions. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure for us to be in Brazil. So absolutely, we are discussing BRICS countries, and Russia right now is president of BRICS community. Next year it goes to Brazil. So Brazil gonna leave G20 and go to BRICS. And plus to that, Brazil gonna be hosting the 30th anniversary of 30th UNFCCC COP on climate. So that's a very big thing. So Ms. Lilian dos Santos Rajal, can I please ask you to comment on food security and logistics of the megapolis? Can you please discuss this topic?
Thank you very much. First of all, I just want to ask you if we have translation from Portuguese to English. Yes? So I will ask you to speak in Portuguese because it's easier for me, and we have lots of Brazilian people here. Okay? Sorry. I won't speak so fast because yesterday... Thank you very much. Yesterday, I talked in Portuguese, and it was very difficult to translate because I speak fast. Então, bom, eu tenho uma apresentação, e se alguém pudesse colocar, eu agradeceria. Alguém vai pôr? Enquanto a apresentação não entra, eu inicio dando as boas-vindas a todas as pessoas aqui dos diferentes países. Agradeço por vocês estarem aqui conosco e por este evento estar sendo realizado aqui no Brasil. De fato, nós temos uma tarefa grande aqui de preparação para o próximo ano. Será um ano bastante intenso de atividades para que nós não só tenhamos uma presidência efetiva no âmbito dos BRICS, mas também para que nós cheguemos bem na COP30 no final do ano em Belém e consigamos ter importantes ganhos em termos das mudanças climáticas e dos acordos que nós precisamos construir para os próximos anos e para que nós tenhamos avanços nas agendas urbanas, nas agendas para cidades, que são um dos nossos grandes desafios. Você não tem o... You don't have the... Sorry. Do you want I'm just giving the okay. Então eu vou começar. Posso começar? Eu passo ou você passa? Ela passa? Ótimo. Então, pode já passar para primeiro slide. Bom, enquanto o slide não entra, eu só queria começar dizendo desse grande desafio que nós temos, né, no âmbito dos sistemas alimentares, para olhar e conseguir endereçar todas as características que influenciam a produção, distribuição e consumo de alimentos de uma forma geral, e a forma como nós estamos trabalhando também aqui no Brasil, não só para olhar os sistemas alimentares de uma forma geral, mas também ter um olhar específico para os sistemas alimentares urbanos. Vou começar, nesse primeiro slide, a gente tem aqui alguns dados que são dados importantes com os quais nós temos trabalhado no Brasil, que são os dados relacionados à fome ou à insegurança alimentar. Nós temos trabalhado com os dados do Hunger Map da FAO, com os dados do Mapa da Fome da FAO, que se tornou um símbolo político importante no Brasil, em termos dos ganhos que nós temos tido nos nossos indicadores de insegurança, de fome e de insegurança alimentar, considerando a má nutrição de uma forma geral. Então, nós temos trabalhado tanto com os dados do Mapa da Fome, do Hunger Map, como também com a escala brasileira de insegurança alimentar, que é uma espécie de FIES testada e aprovada e implementada aqui no Brasil para que nós possamos ter acesso a dados desagregados por regiões, por estados e até mesmo por municípios, algumas vezes, a depender da modalidade de aplicação da escala. Então, nós vínhamos aqui no Brasil ao longo dos primeiros 15 anos dos anos 2000, numa decrescente da fome, até que nós conseguimos esse feito de sair do mapa da fome, como nós gostamos de falar aqui no Brasil, e a partir da Covid-19 e de uma desorganização da agenda de segurança alimentar no âmbito federal, nós voltamos a ter indicadores muito graves de insegurança alimentar e de fome, e que já começaram a ser revertidos desde o ano passado. Tanto é que no SOF, no State of Food Insecurity deste ano, que foi inclusive lançado aqui no Brasil, nós já iniciamos uma curva descendente no Hunger Map e da mesma forma no FIES. E aqui no Brasil, nós chegamos a ter, em 2022, um dado muito alarmante, que era o dado de 33 milhões de pessoas, ou 15% da população brasileira em situação de fome, A maior parte, numericamente, nas áreas urbanas, embora no rural, percentualmente, seja uma situação mais grave, mas a maior parte dessas pessoas nas áreas urbanas, dos 33 milhões de pessoas em 2022, início de 2022, que estavam em situação de fome, 27 milhões estavam nas áreas urbanas. Então, foi um número que foi muito trabalhado aqui no Brasil, muito discutido face ao agravamento dessa situação em função do desmonte das políticas de segurança alimentar e da Covid-19. Desde o início do ano passado, nós retomamos a agenda de segurança alimentar no nível federal, com a reorganização da governança da segurança alimentar, a retomada da participação social por meio da reconstituição do Conselho Nacional de Segurança Alimentar, da Câmara Interministerial que coordena a agenda de segurança alimentar no Brasil, e também com a reorganização de alguns dos principais programas relacionados à segurança alimentar, os programas específicos de segurança alimentar e nutricional, como o nosso programa de transferência de renda, o programa Bolsa Família, e algumas outras políticas estruturantes de empregabilidade, salário, e também de compra, doação, distribuição de alimentos de uma forma geral. Bom, com isso a gente já começa a reverter a tendência de fome e a gente tem ganhos muito significativos que dão conta de nós termos chegado a uma situação geral de apenas 4% da nossa população em situação de insegurança alimentar grave, que é o que nós chamamos de fome, que são cerca de 8 milhões, um pouco mais de 8 milhões e 200 mil pessoas, 8,2 milhões de pessoas, que ainda é grave, mas muito melhor do que 33, né? E desses cerca de 8 milhões de pessoas em situação de insegurança alimentar grave no Brasil, que é 4,1% da nossa população, cerca de 7 milhões estão nas cidades, né? Então, mais uma vez, embora no rural nós ainda tenhamos uma situação percentualmente mais grave de insegurança alimentar, nas cidades que se concentra a maior parte da nossa população em situação de insegurança alimentar grave. Pode passar, por favor, o slide? Eu acho que os desafios das cidades, né, e do ambiente urbano, eles estão postos para todos nós, e nós, assim como no restante do mundo, nós estamos muito preocupados com isso, e temos feito um esforço de incluir a dimensão da sustentabilidade e o quanto as cidades têm sido mais vulnerabilizadas a partir das mudanças climáticas, especialmente as populações mais pobres e mais vulneráveis nas grandes cidades. Pode passar, por favor? Eu já falei um pouco dos dados mais gerais do Brasil e o quanto nós temos também sido impactados por isso que se convencionou chamar da sindemia global, que a partir da publicação da Lancet, né, que coloca os desafios de nós lidarmos com a epidemia de fome, uma epidemia de sobrepeso e toda essa carga que as mudanças climáticas trazem para esse desafio de olhar para os ambientes urbanos de uma forma geral. Pode passar, por favor? Aqui no Brasil, ontem nós chamávamos atenção para isso, né? Mas nós estamos vivendo, neste momento, uma situação de seca extrema, muitas queimadas, um ambiente muito poluído por queimadas, né, nas cidades, e acabamos de sair de um momento muito grave de enchentes muito devastadoras na nossa região sul, que é uma região das mais prósperas do Brasil, e estamos vivendo um fenômeno migratório na Amazônia, em função da seca, que vem isolando as comunidades e dificultando o acesso a alimentos por parte das populações que vivem nas áreas rurais, especialmente da Amazônia. Isso não é exclusividade do governo brasileiro, mas nós estamos sendo bastante desafiados a dar soluções que nos façam trabalhar com as emergências e ter alternativas para que as populações não migrem para as cidades e para que as populações tenham acesso à alimentação da melhor forma possível. Pode passar, por favor? Nós, como eu falei no começo, retomamos uma série de programas de segurança alimentar, que são programas importantes, que foram sendo desenvolvidos para que nós pudéssemos lidar com a situação de insegurança alimentar, tanto no ambiente rural, mas principalmente no ambiente urbano. Os nossos principais programas endereçam mais facilmente as populações rurais, então os programas que são relacionados às cidades vêm sendo objeto de crescente preocupação e de implementação no período mais recente. Os nossos programas de compras públicas, alimentação escolar, compras públicas ligadas à alimentação escolar, programas de resiliência às mudanças climáticas, como programas cisternas, falam muito mais sobre o rural do que o urbano. Mesmo assim, nós temos feito um esforço grande de criar programas e ter um olhar mais sistêmico sobre os ambientes alimentares urbanos. Nesse sentido, nós estamos consolidando uma rede brasileira de bancos de alimentos, estamos retomando revisando a nossa estratégia intersetorial de perdas e desperdícios de alimentos, que foi praticamente abandonada, esquecida nos últimos anos. Tinha sido lançada em 2018 e ficou em alguma gaveta nos anos recentes, e a partir deste ano nós estamos coordenando um grupo de ministérios e atores do governo federal brasileiro, alguns atores da sociedade civil, pesquisadores, em torno da retomada de uma agenda nacional de combate à perda e desperdício de alimentos, que é bastante importante, bastante orientadora do que nós pretendemos fazer nessa agenda de perdas e desperdícios daqui para frente, além do que nós já temos de equipamentos, como bancos de alimentos, ou a própria pesquisa sobre perdas que vem sendo aperfeiçoada aqui no Brasil, com o apoio da Embrapa, da nossa empresa de pesquisa agropecuária, e outros mais. Pode passar para o próximo, por favor? Mas talvez esse caderninho do lado direito é a nossa estratégia de perdas e desperdício de alimentos, que está sendo, neste momento, revisada, mas talvez o que nós tenhamos de mais novo e mais recente seja essa estratégia que nós estamos implementando, que se chama Alimenta Cidades, que é uma estratégia para um olhar e a implementação de um trabalho específico sobre os sistemas alimentares urbanos. Nós definimos um trabalho, nós estamos trabalhando dentro dessa estratégia de sistemas alimentares urbanos com 60 cidades. Você quer falar alguma coisa? Não. Com 60 cidades, que são todas as capitais do Brasil, de estados do Brasil, mais todas as cidades acima de 300 mil habitantes, das regiões Norte, Nordeste e Centro-Oeste do Brasil, e nas regiões Sul e Sudeste, como nós temos muito mais cidades acima de 300 mil habitantes, nós definimos um grupo de cidades com maior número de população de rua, ou pessoas que estão em situação de maior vulnerabilidade. Então, nós estamos desenvolvendo instrumentos específicos para olhar para esses ambientes urbanos. Estamos fazendo um mapeamento dos desertos alimentares de todas essas 60 cidades, trazendo tudo o que nós temos de equipamentos públicos e privados de ofertas de alimentos, também outros equipamentos em que as pessoas, equipamentos sociais ou de alimentação e nutrição, que as pessoas acessem alimentos de uma forma geral, sejam eles hortas urbanas ou ações de agricultura urbana, sejam restaurantes populares ou cozinhas solidárias ou bancos de alimentos, ou ainda lugares em que as pessoas compram alimentos, né? Os pequenos mercadinhos nas periferias das grandes cidades brasileiras, que é onde está concentrada a maior parte da nossa população mais pobre. Então, nós estamos fazendo esse grande mapeamento dos desertos alimentares e iniciando um trabalho de assistência técnica com essas 60 cidades. Já estamos em curso, né, com esse trabalho de assistência técnica para conformar espaços de governança e de olhares específicos para a segurança alimentar, olhando os diferentes programas que dialogam com a segurança alimentar em todas as suas dimensões, sejam programas de produção de alimentos, de distribuição de alimentos, de acesso ou ainda relacionados ao consumo de alimentos. Então, nós estamos com uma equipe do governo federal, em parceria com algumas universidades e com alguns institutos de pesquisa, trabalhando na implementação dessa estratégia, e passamos a incluir alguns programas específicos nessa estratégia, como um programa Cozinha Solidária, que é um programa da sociedade, o programa Cozinha Solidária é um programa que o governo federal encampou a partir de um desafio da sociedade civil brasileira de fornecimento de refeições para quem estava passando fome no momento da pandemia e que persistiu ao longo do tempo e segue sendo implementado para que populações que não conseguem acessar alimentos de outra forma possam ter uma refeição com comida de verdade, como nós gostamos de falar aqui no Brasil, né? Com a comida que é o hábito alimentar da população brasileira e que está definida no nosso guia alimentar da população brasileira e também no nosso decreto da nova cesta básica de alimentos que nós publicamos este ano, definindo uma composição de uma cesta básica apenas com alimentos in natura e minimamente processados e sem oferta de ultraprocessados. Mas eu queria chamar a atenção, pode passar para o próximo slide, por favor? É esse aqui. Eu gostaria de chamar a atenção para uma das ofertas desse nosso programa Alimenta Cidades, desse olhar específico para os ambientes urbanos, que é o nosso Programa Nacional de Agricultura Urbana. Nós começamos a trabalhar um Programa Nacional de Agricultura Urbana aqui no Brasil em 2018, criamos um instrumento aqui que nós chamamos de portaria, né? Está traduzido como ordinance aqui, que é um instrumento do nosso Ministério do Desenvolvimento Social, que criou dentro da nossa caixinha ali, né, esse programa de agricultura urbana, e nós começamos a fomentar a estruturação de ações de agricultura urbana nos diferentes espaços do Brasil. Isso foi sendo trabalhado um pouco secundariamente ao longo dos anos, né? E no ano passado nós retomamos essa agenda como uma agenda importante e uma das agendas centrais da segurança alimentar, criando um programa por meio de um decreto, e agora nós temos uma lei no Brasil que foi recém-aprovada, estabelecendo um Programa Nacional de Agricultura Urbana. Nós, ao longo dos anos, fomos juntando parceiros nessa agenda. Hoje nós temos o Ministério do Desenvolvimento Social, o Ministério do Desenvolvimento Agrário, o Ministério do Meio Ambiente, o Ministério do Trabalho e Emprego do Brasil como parceiros importantes e estratégicos e que assinaram conosco esse decreto federal de criação do programa, de lançamento e criação do Programa Nacional de Agricultura Urbana, dialogando com os Objetivos do Desenvolvimento Sustentável da ONU, e por meio desse programa nós estamos implementando uma agenda também de produção de alimentos no ambiente urbano. Claro que um programa de agricultura urbana não é só um programa de produção de alimentos, né, no ambiente urbano, ele também dialoga com o meio ambiente, com a criação de espaços verdes no ambiente urbano, com práticas de trabalho no ambiente urbano, com a oferta de alimentos e o acesso a alimentos mais saudáveis no ambiente urbano, e também com esse grande desafio de criar resiliência e melhores condições de vida diante das mudanças climáticas que vêm assolando os ambientes urbanos. Pode passar, por favor? Nós desenvolvemos uma série de instrumentos para essa agenda de agricultura urbana no Brasil, junto com a nossa empresa brasileira de pesquisa agropecuária, a Embrapa, que talvez seja muito conhecida de vários atores aqui, nós desenvolvemos um trabalho específico sobre hortas pedagógicas, sobre hortas comunitárias, temos desenvolvido e implementado ações específicas, mas talvez e ações específicas para a implementação de experiências e de ações de agricultura urbana, efetivamente, agricultura urbana e periurbana, mas talvez o trabalho mais importante, mais expressivo que nós tenhamos feito seja esse guia que se chama Agendas Municipais de Agricultura Urbana e Periurbana, que foi uma parceria desenvolvida pelo Ministério do Desenvolvimento Social, pelo governo brasileiro, com uma universidade muito importante aqui no Brasil, que é a FGV, a Fundação Getúlio Vargas, e o PNUMA, o Programa das Nações Unidas para o Meio Ambiente, aqui no Brasil, o escritório do Programa Nacional da ONU para o Meio Ambiente no Brasil, que a partir de uma pesquisa longa permitiu que nós criássemos essa publicação, que nós... pode passar, por favor? Essa importante publicação que já está sendo distribuída por nós há algum tempo, como um guia para inserir a agricultura urbana nos processos de planejamento urbano, dando conta das agendas municipais ou locais ou de cada cidade, né, de agricultura urbana e periurbana, e que trata a agricultura urbana ou esse assunto, né, da produção de alimentos ou da produção de espaços verdes no ambiente urbano de uma forma mais sistêmica, olhando também para não só para a produção, mas para a distribuição, consumo e produção de alimentos de uma forma geral. Pode passar, por favor? Nós, então, agora acabamos de traduzir esse guia para inserir a agricultura nos processos de planejamento urbano para o inglês, e nós temos o prazer de compartilhar com vocês aqui, estamos agora praticamente aqui nesse momento fazendo o lançamento desse guia, e temos o prazer de compartilhar com todas as pessoas que estão aqui. Eu não tenho uma tradução em inglês impressa ainda, porque a gente acabou de finalizar, mas nós temos o QR Code que a apresentação está aqui, estará disponível para todas as pessoas, e nós temos o prazer de compartilhar o QR Code com esse guia, que é um guia bastante importante, bastante estratégico para nós, tem sido de muita utilidade para trabalhar essa agenda de agricultura urbana com os municípios, com as grandes cidades, as pequenas também, mas principalmente com as grandes cidades no Brasil, e é uma agenda bastante promissora de uma grande aposta do governo brasileiro para compor como uma das ações da nossa estratégia Alimenta Cidades, e uma ação importante para olhar a resiliência, para ter um olhar sobre a resiliência dentro dos sistemas alimentares urbanos. Eu encerro e agradeço mais uma vez o convite para estarmos aqui e seguimos à disposição para trabalharmos conjuntamente ao longo do próximo ano. Muito obrigada.
Thank you very much for your leadership. Thank you very much for your vision. So that's how we unite food and technologies. So thank you for that also. And we are moving from Brazil, we are moving to Russia. Ms. Tatiana Naumova, can we please discuss the sustainable development of modern megapolises?
Hello, dear colleagues. I'm glad to visit this place, to visit this forum, and I would like to tell you about Moscow. In the context of BRICS countries. As we all know, urbanization is one of the most significant trends of the 21st century. Today, 55% of population lives in cities, and it's expected to rise to 70% by 2050. The OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, estimates that about 105 of 69 SDG targets will be reached only with active engagement of local and regional governments. It's important for each city to act locally to make a global impact together. The year 2024 is the year of Russia's chairmanship in BRICS, and Moscow can be symbolically considered as the capital of the organization this year. Today, Russian capital engages with capitals, regions, and states across all continents and at diverse levels. Moscow supports relations with more than 150 of the world's largest megacities and macro-regions. We pay special attention to relations with the BRICS countries, the new countries that have joined the association, Egypt, the UAE, and Ethiopia. Most recently, Malaysia, Azerbaijan, and Turkey have applied to join BRICS. Just a couple of weeks ago, as Mr. Chumakov said, Moscow hosted the International Municipal BRICS Forum. The government of Moscow is the general partner of this forum. It was one of the largest international platforms under Russia's BRICS chairmanship, convened to discuss municipal cooperation issues and exchange experience in different spheres, such as digitalization, sustainable development, and innovation in city management. The forum became an important platform for working out new strategies for urban development and strengthening international cooperation. It attracted representatives of over 500 cities from more than 125 countries, heads of megapolises and regions, representatives of various institutions, businesses, and academia. The government of Moscow signed cooperation programs with its partners. For example, the cities of Tehran, Iran, Cebu, Philippines, São Paulo, Brazil, Bujumbura, Burundi, and others, as well as a number of international organizations. Overall, during the forum, the participants signed over 300 agreements aimed at developing municipal cooperation and expanding economic ties with other states, including countries of Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America. Moscow is one of the largest urban economies in the world, accounting for the 1/5 of the total GRP of the Russian Federation. It's equal to 20%. Moscow implements a well-balanced development strategy which aligns with the principles of sustainability. Approximately 95% of Moscow's budget is directed to projects connected with the sustainable development goals. This year, Moscow has issued the 2024 local review of progress on the SDGs. 6 SDGs were considered. Number 3, good health and well-being. Number 4, quality education. Number 5, gender equality. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities. And number 13, climate actions. The review provides an initial profile of Moscow, prepared in accordance with the Global Urban Monitoring Framework. The framework has been created by the UN Habitat as a guide for urban monitoring of the SDGs and implementation of the new urban agenda. Moscow's UFM city index stands at the impressive 90.82. reflecting the city's strong performance across the analyzed domains. We have published with voluntary review, and we have brought here, and if you are interested, we can share it here. At the same time, we have it electronically, and also can share with our partners. According to international experts, Moscow is one of the leading cities in sustainable development. Moscow is among the leaders in BRICS urban climate agenda. A report of urban climate results was presented at the BRICS Climate Agenda in Modern Conditions Forum in Moscow. It was as well 2 weeks ago. The city has a balanced approach to sustainable development in key areas of urban life in terms of climate impact. Moscow has transformed its urban landscape, prioritizing green spaces, efficient public transportation, and smart city management. Speaking about transportation is one of the key priorities of Moscow's sustainable future. Projects have significantly reduced urban air pollution, making our city cleaner and more convenient. Moscow has an extensive metro network. Its length has increased by 50% over the past 10 years. The capital has the largest fleet of electric buses in Europe, more than 1,800 units. Moscow is developing its river transport system with the world's first year-round electric river vehicles. Our city has the world's largest car-sharing fleet. It's approximately 37,000 cars. On average, one car is used for 6 trips per day by different people. So it reduces the greenhouse effect correspondingly. There are also over 7,000 electric scooters and bicycles available for rent and for residents and guests of Moscow. Moscow is a leading city in digitalization. There are more than 80 urban initiatives based on artificial intelligence in the fields of transport, healthcare, education, urban economy and management, interaction with residents and business. The city's key platform is mos.ru. It's the central channel for residents and business representatives to communicate with city. It's a platform for public services. Users have access to more than 220 electronic city services online. For example, citizens can make doctor's appointments, check their children's school grades, and address the city's authorities. A unique decluttering service allows citizens to easily get rid of old home appliances, old furniture and metal. They are moved and recycled for free. Moscow's digital twin is an exact 3D model of a city. This unique system helps Moscow's authorities to make decisions and manage residential, industrial, and social development projects. The Internet of Things projects across the city enable smarter management of resources and services. The city's video surveillance system includes around 240,000 cameras. They are used not only to ensure safety, but also to control the quality of work of municipal services, identify uncollected garbage containers, dirty road signs, graffiti. Moscow's electronic school integrates digital tools into education, enhancing the learning experience for students. Moscow is among the top 5 most attractive cities in the world for tourism. During the summer season 2023, more than 7 million tourists visited the city. According to the Global City Index 2023, Moscow is number 1 among the world's capitals in terms of accessibility and variety of museum exhibitions, and it's the top 7 of 150 mega cities in the culture life category. We are among leaders for the number of theaters, museums, and galleries, unique places and sites. Being one of the leaders in the implementation of the SDGs, Moscow strives not only to move forward, but also to lead others along the way. We are ready to cooperate and share our experience with interested partners, since all of us are stakeholders of a more sustainable future. Thank you very much.
So, using this platform, I want to say, if you want to go to Russia, if you want to go to Moscow, please do. You're gonna love it. I mean, Brazil is magnificent, so is Russia. So please think about it. You will definitely love it. But from my favorite city, we go to my favorite topic. Mr. Leodin, environment cooperation, global trends, local solutions, and need for cooperation. Can you please comment on that?
Hello? Okay, it's working. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dublovdela. So it's nice to hear the previous speaker from Brazil and Moscow. It's first time for me to be in Latin America, but I have been Russian for more than 20 times. Even Moscow is very impressive. Also, Brazil is very impressive. I heard what you have said. I just share some experience of what we had in China. So before that, I would like to thank UNEP to invite us to join this wonderful forum. As a member of BRICS, Chinese government appreciate the Secretariat of UNEP that organized a forum of One Planet Network for Exchange. I would like to thank the Brazilian government and the municipal government of Rio for their positive contribution to this forum, and all BRICS partners for their concern and support for China's sustainable development. Human needs are growing via a planet's limited resources. This challenges is being addressed for more than 40 years, targeting to reduce vulnerability, resolving from demographic impactation and economic downturn, unsustainable consumption and production in inequality, rapid urbanization with limited concern for environment. This is especially true for big metropolitans and human settlements, which need to be adjusted in a more comprehensive manner to the triple planetary crisis agenda and action with a focus on climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss, in line with SDG 11 on ensuring openness, security, resilience, and environmental sustainability. of cities and human settlement. With 900 million population living in urban area in China, the sustainable development of urban and densely populated area has a direct bearing on the well-being of residents. China is actively exploring and promoting a series of reforms in the field of sustainable city development with adhering to the people-oriented development direction of new urbanization. It has taken a scientific, moderate, and orderly approach to the use of territory space and promoted a sound economic structure that facilitates green, low carbon, and circular development. It has been fostered an instrumental system that combines both constraints and incentives to coordinate industrial restructuring, population pollution control, economic environmental conservation, and climate response. China has endeavored to cut carbon emissions, reduce pollution, expand green development, and pursue economic growth. It has prioritized eco-environmental protection, conserve resources, and use them effectively for green and low carbon development. It has developed special configurations, industrial structures, and ways of work and life that have conserved resources and protect the environment and promote greener economic and social development in all aspects. China has placed great emphasis on urban biodiversity conservation as it has made the surround plans for space for working, living, and eco-environmental conservation and has worked to make cities livable, resilient, and smart. China has launched projects for historic conservation and the restoration of mountains, rivers, forests, farmland, lakes, grassland, and desert, taking comprehensive and systematic measures to deal with problems by addressing their root causing. China's preserved plantations are reached 1.3 billion mu, ranking first in the world, and cumulative improvement of grass seed reached 400 million mu, and the grassland area reached 3.9 billion mu, ranking first in the world. More than 3,600 wetland conservation and restoration projects had been completed, and the total area of wetlands in China is 845 million mu, ranking fourth in the world. As an activist in global climate governance in recent years, China has embarked on a monumental journey to change its energy landscape, driven by the urgent need to address environmental issues, improve energy security, and help achieve global sustainable development goal. This shift is a nationwide movement, and Beijing, Dalian, Qingdao, Guangzhou are leading the way in their energy transition efforts. China attaches equal importance to climate change mitigation and adoption, steadily promotes energy conservation and carbon reduction, and is one of the countries in the world that has the fastest reduction in energy intensity, with a record temperature in China and many other parts of the world. Cooling is becoming a key element in planning climate resilient cities. Thus, China has taken a new track, turning city into giant spawns to tackle the dual challenge of rapid urban growth and extreme weather. The spawn city approach relies on a range of innovations from green roofs on building to expanding urban wetland. The technology will initially be rolled out in 13 pilot cities to address some of the environmental challenges in the most populous countries. The pilot cities are Beijing, Shenzhen, and Shanghai are identified to find ways to absorb, store, filter, and purify rainwater. The idea is to store the water and reuse it instead of sending it down the drain. This to help tackle problems such as flooding, drought, heat waves, and pollution. According to the government's plan of China, 80% of the urban areas should tend to spawn by 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, China's innovative potential, a clear expression of which are megacities, are the centers of concentration of science and high technology. China currently boasts the world's largest eco-city development program. It has been a global leader in smart city initiative using advanced monitoring technology, big data processing, and artificial intelligence to simplify the management of city and public space. The country's leadership emphasized and prioritized developing smart city by launching a national strategy in the area and devoting public resources to facilitate its growth. China's success in the rapid digitalization of the economic and the society is a step forward in increasing in the number of smart cities. It is to share the responsibility of all mankind to promote sustainable urban development, promote sustainable production and consumption, deepen environmental and climate governance, implement and the UN 2030 agenda for sustainable development, and promote global sustainable development. We understand and recognize the importance of global trends in smart cities development and are happy to learn more about the available best practice in making our cities more resilient and sustainable. Under this circumstance, environmental cooperation is not only desirable, it is absolutely necessary. We need the mechanism in place for putting proposals into practice through the technology transfer and the provision of technical, financial, and advisory assistance, including exchange of knowledge of experience. Joint projects should be the key element of this collaboration. In views of the above, China promotes the so-called BRICS Clean Technology Platform, and we are creating an international center for exchange and interaction, where innovative approach to environmental protection are present. China has also instrumental in organization exchange of environmental protection professionals to promote South-South cooperation. We stand ready for cooperation with the BRICS countries to make our cities more innovative, sustainable, and resilient. I thank you all. Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much. We go to the main topic of this forum. We go to the circular economy. So, Mr. Kyoto Makayane, the floor is yours. Please tell us what we are missing.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to fellow panelists, and good afternoon to ladies and gentlemen who are part of this meeting. We have slides that might be showing up as we continue with the engagement, but it's safe to appreciate the opportunity from the Open Planet Network for South Africa's sharing of our initiatives on sustainable cities and circular economy, a topic and discussion that we really appreciate and also believe in learning from others as well as sharing our best practices. At the bottom right of the screen, you'll see the mascot is called a Billy Bean, largely recognizing the significance of awareness raising in drawing everybody's attention in the community and the society at large, and is good for educational purposes. And hence, as part of our national waste management strategy, we see compliance enforcement and awareness being an important mix. We proceed to the next slide. As an outline, we have the introduction and background, waste management regulatory instruments for circular economy, waste regulatory instruments, developed norms and standards, National Waste Management Strategy of 2020, which Cabinet has approved for implementation, which has circular economy as one of the key principles. And we look at circular economy opportunities in South Africa, as well as waste streams for potential circularity, and we'll draw some inferences from there. On the right-hand side is our Green Book again for capacity building, training, education and awareness raising. We developed this compendium of our waste policy and legislation that includes circular economy. You'll see the picture in the middle is circularity, the different arrows there. Also around the normal principle we have adhered in our previous strategy on waste hierarchy. We can proceed to the next slide, where we basically indicating our population that is more than 63 million inhabitants, and as a result, high rate of waste generation from that. But we have strong mining and manufacturing sector, again, that also result in materials for potential beneficiation through circular economy and manufacturing of certain products. Key is also the introduction of the exclusion regulations in recognizing waste streams and materials that can be used for beneficial use. We have provision in the waste legislation that enables excluding those materials from definition of waste so that they can be used as an input material into manufacturing other products, as opposed to being discarded in landfills in a linear economy, because we promote circular economy. So the exclusion regulations are also assisting us in that. And key, and recently the introduction of extended producer responsibility also being critical in promoting circularity. We have also waste classification and management regulations together with the associated norms and standards, which discourage certain waste streams from going to landfill. They basically ban waste to going to landfill, which increases the diversion of waste away from landfill, as opposed to take, make, and dispose kind of an economy. On the next slide, you'll see the policy instruments, as well as the move from the underpricing to say recently we're seeing value in waste, hence the recognition of the market failure and the need to do some changes in terms of legislative environment to deal with littering, to deal with pollution, to deal with marine litter and pollution, hence our participation in the INC process, largely recognizing that we don't have water pollution only in the sea, but you also have it in the lakes, dams, and rivers. So also looking at opportunities for waste valorization and markets and trade in recyclable goods, because it's usually a challenge in green goods and products manufactured from recycled material to have market and access to markets. So hence a good discussion we're having under BRICS for us to further engage this, to see what is it that can be done in as far as this area is concerned. When you go to the next slide, we're seeing the different types of materials. I was happy to see at the exhibition downstairs here at the museum, the innovation that some of the exhibitors are doing in as far as the caps and manufacturing different types of products from these. And this is innovation that our regulations are promoting. For instance, on extended producer responsibility, plastic bag regulations, waste tires, where we have an EPR scheme that started in 2012. The regulations for exclusion of waste material, as I've alluded to, regulations for import and export, recognizing the need for aligning with our MEAs. So this import and export regulation is domesticating the Basel Convention, while at the same time recognizing the need to bring on board the general waste, as it is currently not included. The National Waste Information Regulations, it says you can't actually manage what you can't measure. So hence the Waste Information Regulations is about waste information systems and also the management of our South African Waste Information Center, which is a web portal that keeps or houses our waste information system, as well as our EPR reporting portal, because our extended producer responsibility schemes report on the South African Waste Information Center web portal for extended producer responsibility schemes. Then we also have regulations for domesticating other MEEs, such as the Rotterdam Convention on the pigs, as well as hazardous chemicals and pesticides in international trade. On the next slide, we see these trends that are taking place in the waste that is being generated, where we have approximately 108 million tons of waste that is generated. And in 2017, our State of Waste report indicated that we have approximately a recycling rate of 21%. Included in this is the 34% of general waste. I think the discussion earlier on about food also links to the potential for organic waste composting, for which we have norms and standards for, as well as organic waste treatment, for different options and opportunities that are there to deal with organic waste. Of late, linked to this, we have a strategy for food loss and waste that we're currently taking through the approval process, recognizing the opportunities that is there, as well as studies that are saying about a third of food loss takes place during food production. So hence a very important area to look at. Hence we have this robust policy and legislative framework designed to promote sustainable waste practices in waste management, and also prioritizing the higher order of waste management options, and reduce, reuse, recycling, which is basically a waste management hierarchy as opposed to disposal. When you proceed to the next slide, is circularity, basically. Linked to our waste management hierarchy, it's safe to say that we also quite strong in the implementation of the bottom part of the waste hierarchy, which is the waste generation part, which is the energy generation, as opposed to disposal of any minimum waste that might be left there after you have exhausted your reduce, reuse, and recycling opportunities. When you proceed to the next slide, we see the actual waste management strategy, largely presenting all the opportunities there in a tree as opportunities for us to explore, implement. There are these three pillars of the National Waste Management Strategy, which is waste minimization, sustainable waste services, compliance enforcement, and awareness, as I've indicated. On the next slide, We have the waste minimization largely linked to hospitality industry. I've mentioned the EPR schemes. We can proceed to the next slide, which is pillar number 2 on effective and sustainable waste services. Largely the role of cities, the role of towns, the role of municipalities, because this says all South Africans live in clean communities and with waste services that are well managed and financially sustainable. They can only be well managed and financially sustainable, managed by municipalities, managed with municipalities, with infrastructure that is with municipalities, which is key. Hence, our extended producer responsibility regulations promote the working together between the extended producer responsibility schemes with the municipalities, largely around this issue of waste services, around the issue of waste infrastructure, which belongs to the municipality. When you proceed to the next slide, is opportunities that come from the hence the Ramsilo waste recycling facility in Sasolburg, which is women-owned waste enterprise manufacturing bricks from waste, including plastics, and an area for growth, local economic development linked to circular economy for a sustainable city, for a sustainable municipality or sustainable town. We can proceed to the next slide. This talks to resource efficiency, environmental sustainability, as well as other economic opportunities that are there, including regenerative design for circularity. We proceed to the next slide. It's just a slide that indicates on the table when we proceed opportunities or ways with opportunities for circularity. On the next slide, we see those waste streams with built environment being part of those waste streams, which are also part of the 5 big bets that has been identified by the African Circular Economy Alliance as opportunities or waste streams with opportunities. When you continue, this slide in summary says what we've achieved through partnerships and collaboration. And the next slide is basically the conclusion that we see contribution through global vision of sustainable cities development that is based on results in BRICS Civil Forum of 2024. The prospects of sustainable cities and circular economy are clearer. And at the same time, financing for development, including peace and security and science, technology and innovation and technical cooperation, is quite key. Participation of youth and future generations in transforming global governance remains key and worth deliberating on in future and other processes, including a pact for future, including this, or in conclusion, this may translate into concrete proposals for BRICS that Russia will be hosting. Thank you.
Much, but again, our organization wouldn't be full unless we're going to hear the civil society. So, Mr. Lucio Silva, please, civil society initiatives on sustainable cities.
So, thank you. I will try to transform my speech in a short time. Okay. So, good afternoon. I greet everyone and welcome the authorities present here. It's a pleasure. Thank you. My name is Lucio Vicente. I'm currently serving as a director of Instituto Catu, a non-profit organization representing the civil society in Brazil, which has been working for 23 years to educate and communicate so that people adopt sustainable lifestyles through conscious consumption and sustainable production. It's a great privilege and honor to be here with you today. So, indeed, population growth has been a major challenge in recent years and decades. Population density makes this even more challenging. Considering that people have been building their lives in large urban centers. And many generations born in these places lack awareness of environmental impact. Every day, the consequence of these impacts on nature are becoming increasingly evident worldwide. However, we still see a gap between awareness and behavior change. Instituto Catu has been working for 2 decades to build what we call the education triad. The first stage is to sensitize the individual so that they recognize the existence of importance of an issue. The second stage is to mobilize the individual to change their behavior. And the third stage is to engage the individual, turning them into a multiplier to sensitize and mobilize others too. In theory, this seems simple, but building this change requires continuous collective work involving stakeholders such as government, businesses, and civil society. Our experience shows that consumption is an inseparable part of human life, and we need to leverage this social role as a practice for change. What we often observe is a gap between the reality on the streets worldwide and the complex discussions about the environment and socioeconomic impact in knowledge spaces like it that are not accessible to most of the population. We believe that education and communication must be prioritized in debates and building solutions. I was reading your report, it's very good. And I know that your goals about education, it's very good. Through education, we need to consider transitioning the educational model in schools, university, and specialized courses. Sustainability should become a fundamental education, linking the impact of your consumption choices to everyday practice. Sustainability must cease being just a professional opportunity and become the foundation of all professionals. It's also important to consider education through consumption, where companies adopt a role of transparency and support in raising people's awareness, using the same strength they employ in develop their products and service advertising to support a communication agenda, focus on transparency of sustainability attributes and helping people understand the impact of every productive activity. Companies also need to learn to cooperate and on pre-competitive agendas within their sectors, breaking down the notion that being sustainable is a competitive attribute. Sharing best practice and supporting the growth of sustainability knowledge among competing companies, it's a step beyond what we currently see, where the focus is mainly on their values chains. In the field of communication, we believe the mindset adopted for most debates, public information, and any position related to environmental and social impacts needs to be accessible and educational. This accessibility begins with the need to balance bad and good news, as good practice are simply ignored amid the overwhelming amount of catastrophic messages and or imminent threats of a near end. Education and communication through fear of by treating increasingly difficult scenarios only heightens tension and the collective feeling that there are no more solutions to the problems we are facing, leading to inaction as a common outcome. It's necessary to balance responsibilities and include society with viable, possible, and inspiring initiatives. Civil society is willing to collaborate on solutions, but it cannot be heard only as a necessary participant, in these discussions, for example. We have the capacity to mobilize critical issues and support complex agendas. But we need opportunities like this, one that we are having right now. As a proposal, let me finish, okay? As a proposal, we can work together on education and communication strategies to address all these challenges. The first is school and community programs. Develop a school curriculum and community programs focus on sustainability, conscious consumption, and the environmental impact of everyday choices. Use interactive learning methods like games, simulations, and hands-on activities to engage younger audiences. Digital campaigns, the second is digital campaigns and influencers. Use social media, podcasts, and video contents to reach a broader audience. Create content that simplifies complex sustainability concepts and shows practical ways individuals can make a difference through conscious consumption. The third is public engagement events. Organize events such as sustainability fairs, discussions, panels like this, and community cleanup to encourage public participation and provide tangible example of sustainable practice. Number 4 is partnership with companies. Collaborate with companies to promote sustainable production practice. They'll develop educational materials that companies can use to train their employees and inform their customers about the benefits of conscious consumption. Investment in education and communication. We cannot limit access to research by using competitive project strategies within civil society. We need to foster collaboration and intersection of causes so that the results are amplified. And finally, cooperation and peer learning. I think we can establish a BRICS-wide education platform that facilitates the exchange of knowledge and best practice of conscious consumption and sustainable productions. This platform can include webinars, workshops, and digital repository of research that highlights successful initiatives from each country. I think it's a very good idea, I don't know. Promote peer-to-peer learning by organizing virtual exchange and programs where representatives from different BRICS nations can share their experience and solution. So I'd like to thank you all to stay with here. And I would like it's an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
I'm going to give the floor to one more speaker. So being here today on One Planet Network Forum, we have to listen to United Nations Environmental Program. Can you please put up video? The video.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, greetings from sunny Moscow. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to address the Sustainable Cities Movement at BRICS Thematic Session of the One Planet Network Forum. Colleagues, we have just 5 years left until 2030 and to reach the Sustainable Development Goals. Nature loss, climate change, and pollution are aspects of the same planetary crisis. They are profoundly interconnected and reinforce each other's impacts. In recent decades, our unsustainable consumption and production patterns have deepened the crisis. Droughts and water shortages, a drastic reduction in fish stocks, and the loss of forests, peatland, mangrove, and coral habitats worldwide are all driving climate change and made more likely by it. Meanwhile, waste and pollution are poisoning terrestrial and marine ecosystems. Inaction on biodiversity loss and climate change leads to real-life consequences, including rising food prices and GDP decline. The unsustainable use of plants and animals is not just threatening the survival of 1 million species around the world. It also impacts the livelihood of billions of people who rely on wild species for food, fuel, and income. The more nature we lose, the less opportunities we have to mitigate and to adapt to climate change. We can expect an annual decline of GDP of 2.7 trillion US dollars due to nature loss by 2030, disproportionately impacting low-income countries. Colleagues, the international frameworks we need are already in place. Sustainable Development Goal, Paris Agreement, Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Frameworks, UN Decade for Ecosystem Restoration, upcoming UN Pact for the Future that will have environmental dimension, and others. The implementation remains a key issue, including resource mobilization, finance for implementation, monitoring, and accountability. The world already knows many of the solutions to the challenges facing the planet and humanity. Renewables, energy efficiency, ecosystem restoration, food system reform, and much more. Solutions that can be quickly implemented to build resilience to climate change. Solutions that can kickstart the long-term system transformation to bring about a net zero, nature-positive, resilient world. Yet we have not put this solution into practice at sufficient scale and speed. We need to look at the positive side of nature conservation. Nature is a source of beauty and enjoyment, a shared amenity, and we are part of it. Nature is also our economic backbone. Ecosystem and wild species help regulate meteorological cycles, water resources, soil fertility, and pollination. By investing in nature conservation and restoration, we can build resilient value within our society for the benefit of the people. The science tells us that this is the last chance. We can't go back to business as usual, and this is what the international frameworks are intended for. It's about creating the pathway to enable the world to reach the goals and targets set for 2030, as well as the 2050 vision of living in harmony with nature. In order to do so, we should insist on the value of nature for everyone, economic, cultural, spiritual. It is the very foundation of our society. This must be understood by all, from political leaders and business people to everyone within society. Earlier this year, Shanghai Cooperation Organization and UNEP signed a memorandum of understanding. We in UNEP are following development of BRICS and especially BRICS activities on environmental protection. And maybe in the near future, we can discuss possible ways of our cooperation to join forces for saving our planet. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a very fruitful meeting and look forward to hearing back from your discussions and receiving the outcomes documents. Thank you for your kind attention. Goodbye.
Very kind attention from our side. So several things from me to as closing remarks. We need to lead by personal example and deliver. That's what we heard today. We need to present results. And let's bring proposals into practices and solutions. I want to thank you, all our fantastic speakers today. I want to thank the organizing team. I want to thank the UNEP, One Planet Network Forum. So I want to thank all of you for being here with us, and bon appetit.